Hi everyone, welcome back. Continuing from where I left you in the previous lecture, as I used two methods in that particular lecture. So the two methods were the first one was for measuring the area of the rectangle, and the second one was for measuring the perimeter of the rectangle. So what happened that I was using the method that is the function we say in C programming. So we are using the code of that particular method again and again by calling that particular method and by passing the parameters, the length and the breadth in that particular method. So what we actually get at the end was we get the area and the perimeter of two different rectangles. So similarly we can have much more methods for measuring more things. Like if we have some program in which we have suppose we have 10 methods. So what happens is that and like in this case the rectangle which was having its length as 2 and breadth as 4 was different from the rectangle which was having its length 4 and its breadth 5. So what happens is that we would try to bind these values, or we can say the properties of the rectangle with the associated methods together. By doing this, what we can do is that we can identify the different rectangles with different names. So what we are doing actually is that we are giving some name to a particular rectangle and a different name to the second rectangle, and so on. And in the similar manner, if we have some more functions or methods, so we can use those methods together with the associated properties. Here there are only two methods and two properties, so we can have more methods and more properties associated with a particular identity. Here we can identify rectangles, different rectangles with different names. In the same manner we can identify different things, that is the different real objects. We can identify, suppose we have one rectangle, so we have a particular object, and similarly we have another rectangle, so it is another object. So this is the concept of object oriented. So what we are going to do is that in this particular program, as I have made a class polygon, so this class polygon might be dealing with rectangles, or it might be dealing with some other polygon. So what happens is that I am having another class named rectangle. So what this class is going to have is that this class is going to have two methods which were associated with this particular class. So what happened is that when we call the main method, so main method is within this polygon class. So what happened that we had these two properties of that particular rectangle, the first rectangle and the second rectangle. So but now what we need to do is that we are going to instantiate this class. So what actually this class is, this rectangle class is actually only the code or the blueprint, we can say. So actually it is not having any existence now, but we know that what a rectangle is. So we know that how a area of the rectangle can be measured and how its perimeter can be measured. So we have the code, but we don't have a particular rectangle. So what we are going to do is that now we are going to instantiate this rectangle if we want the area or the perimeter of a particular rectangle. So for that reason, what we are going to do is, first of all, we are going to instantiate by writing the name of the class whose object we want to make. So rectangle, so we can give it as a name R1. I am giving it. So R1 is the name of that, and we use the new keyword. So and then again the name of the class we are using. So in this way what we are doing is that we are instantiating this rectangle, and similarly we can instantiate another rectangle object of rectangle class in a similar manner. So for this I'm just copying this and pasting it over here. So now I have another instantiation or another object of this particular class. So now if I want to call area for these particular rectangles, then what I need is that I am going to use the method area for this particular rectangle, for the first rectangle. So now I'm going to call the r1 dot area. So what happens is that we can have not this get area method directly, but now we will have r1 dot. So this will be the area of the first, and similarly the parameter of the first by this. Okay, and then similarly we will have this for the second one also. So for that we will have r2 dot one second, I'm just copying all these things together. So just copying this and pasting it all together. So now as you know that so area 1 parameter 1 and area 1 parameter 1, and this is the area and parameter of the first. So I'm writing first over here and first over here also. So over here I'm going to write area 2 parameter 2, and this is the second rectangle, so I have named it as r2. So now it would be r2 over here and r2 over here. Similarly the length and breadth, for length and breadth, let the length would be the length one for the first and the breadth one for first, and actually this I have called now, so this is not needed. So I'm going to delete this. So length 2 and breadth 2 for the second, and similarly I will have to rename it as length 1 breadth 1 and area 1 and parameter 1, area 1 parameter 1, and also for the second object I will have to name it as for this object I will have 2 everywhere. So now what we are doing is that first of all I'm going to save this program, and I have to save it with the name of the main class. So main class name was I guess polygon this time, so I will have to save it as polygon dot java. So 1 second. So now it is polygon dot java. Sorry, I don't know that it has already been saved. I'll be that I had made some program which I don't remember right now. So it is a Java file. So I've now named it as polygon 1. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to rename this as polygon 1. It's not an issue now, and I've saved it again. So what is happening in this particular code now is that we are just having the length and breadth of the first for the first rectangle, and length and breadth for the second rectangle, and then we are passing those length and breadth for the first one. So the length 1 and the breadth 1, and then the length 2 and the breadth 2, and then we are getting this for, and so Over here we have the get area method, and we are passing length and breadth, so it is not making any difference because it is called by value. This I would explain later, but one thing I want to tell you that the method area is passing the variable length 1 and breadth 1, but while calling, but the body is having the variable name as length and breadth. So what will happen is that the compiler will give memory to a variable named length over here, and it is going to copy the value which was there in the length one when it is being called, so by the instance r1. So what is happening over here is that first of all we are having a rectangle whose name is now r1, so that's why we have written this rectangle. So what actually it is doing is that the name of the rectangle is r1 now, and now somewhere in the memory, as we have the data types, we have the variables, and the variable is given a certain memory location. So in that particular memory location it occupies some memory space. In the same manner, this r1 will also be like a data variable, and what it is going to do, it will be of a rectangle type. So a reference of rectangle is a reference type. So what it is referencing, r1 is referencing to a rectangle, and what this new rectangle is doing, it is instantiating that rectangle. So means now it will have the values. So now so now this has been instantiated as r1. So the whole block of code will be given some memory. Not only the block of code, means the execution of the code will be given certain memory, because this is actually now working as a data type. So the whole memory which is needed by the data type is so these instantiated rectangles, the rectangle 1 and rectangle 2 will be like the data types, as the data types are given memory. So these will be given memories, and when we call the method, so the method will be called for the first variable, that is the r1 of rectangle data type now. So this will return the area of the first rectangle and parameter of the first rectangle, and this will be the area of the second and the parameter of the second. So hopefully this will produce as an output the area and the parameter of the two rectangles. And one more thing is that the length of the second, oh sorry, I'm very sorry that I'm just writing something wrong now. So this was for the second and this was for the first. Extremely sorry for being incorrect. So now I'm saving it. So let's see, hopefully it will run correctly. Now I'm going to write this as I've saved it as polygon1.java. so let's see. Okay, it's fine now. Now it is sorry, polygon1, so java polygon1. Now you can see that the things are working in the same manner as it was working earlier, and we have used the class and instantiated the objects, the r1 and r2. So now they are used as a data type. So r1 is a separate variable and rectangle is the data type. So it is also the means reference type. So it is being passed as a r1 is referencing to a type of rectangle. So this was all for today's lecture. I would try to cover up more things in the next lecture and try to be precise and being up to the point, and also to explain in depth. Thanks for watching.